This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas, coming to you from my living room this morning. Cozy, comfortable, if not a little cluttered. So, was just looking through the latest edition of Wagon Tracks, and that is the official publication of the Santa Fe Trail Association. That gorgeous artwork on the cover from Keel from Colorado, and he has graciously allowed us to use his artwork for the next couple of years as we mark the 200th anniversary of the Santa Fe Trail's opening. So, go to santafetrail.org, and if you join, then you too can get this quarterly publication. Ruth Friesen is the editor. I cannot tell you enough about what a wonderful job she does. This always has some great history. It has some great images. In fact, in this very issue, here's some photos I took when Chef Walter Steib visited just a few weeks ago. So I was looking through actually perusing the internet, no real deep archival research, on what happened on this date in history. And lo and behold, one of my favorite names came up. Charles Sumner, the U.S. Senator from Massachusetts in the 19th century, and perhaps the largest snob this country ever produced. So Charles Sumner is most famous for having been beaten nearly to death on the floor of the U.S. Senate after he made a speech, The Crime Against Kansas. And this was all about slavery and how we can't allow the extension of slavery into the Kansas territory. And it so vilified Southerners that the congressman from South Carolina, one Preston Brooks, strode onto the floor of the Senate, took his cane, and beat the senator nearly to death. Now, Sumner would hang on to that bloody shirt, waving the bloody shirt. Have you ever heard that expression? Sumner did that, literally. And he used that bloody shirt as a symbol of this whole controversy with Kansas at the center of it. So he's a very important man in Kansas history and American history. And he was a snob, but he was a hardcore abolitionist. He argued for desegregation of schools in Massachusetts long before it became popular. So he was a very important man. Became a close confidant of Mary Lincoln. In fact, it was Charles Sumner who scored a presidential pension for the widow, after Lincoln's death. So is just such an interesting fellow. He was 6'3" or 4", and of course Lincoln was very tall too. So the first time that our folksy Lincoln, Westerner, meets the esteemed senator from Massachusetts, and he takes a look at that long strapping man, and he said, "How about we stand back to back and see who's the tallest?" And of course the very snobbish Sumner said, "I think not." He was absolutely appalled that the incoming president would want to do something so backwoods and childish. Of course, he came to appreciate Lincoln's qualities of brilliance, if not genius, and admired him very much as the years passed, but it was not always so. Have a wonderful show for you this morning. So glad you can join us. Michelle will be with us a little later, and stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.